Living alone, it sounds peaceful, doesn't it? Especially as you grow older, the idea of doing what you want, when you want, no interruptions, no compromises, just peace and quiet. But is that the whole story? In today's video, we're going to dive deeper, uncovering the reality of what it truly means to live alone as you age. It's not just about solitude and freedom. There are layers to this lifestyle that we don't talk about enough. Together, let's explore the wisdom and experiences from those who've walked this path. This isn't just about my perspective. It's about real-life insights from people just like you. Let's get started. 1. Being your own emergency backup. Here's something many of us don't think about when we picture living alone: being your own safety net. Sure, when you're younger, the idea of being totally independent feels empowering. But when you get older, it takes on a new meaning. You see, when something goes wrong, it's just you. There's no partner in the next room. No one immediately there to notice if you've had a fall or a health emergency. I read a story recently about a man in his 70s who lived alone in a quiet neighborhood. He had a minor stroke one evening. He fell in his living room and couldn't get back up. It was nearly 2 days before a neighbor noticed the newspapers piling up on his doorstep and decided to check in. Luckily, he survived. But it got me thinking, how many of us have a backup plan? It's not about living in fear, but about being prepared. Investing in a smartwatch with fall detection or a simple medical alert system could save your life. One woman in an online forum shared that she installed a lockbox outside her house with a spare key. So, if anything happened, her family could get in without breaking a window. These small steps can give you the freedom to keep living independently but safely. Here's a question for you. Do you have a plan in place for an emergency? Take a moment to think about it, because a little preparation today can make all the difference tomorrow. 2. Loneliness. It's not what you think. Now, let's talk about loneliness. We all know that living alone comes with solitude. But loneliness? That's something different. Here's a common myth. People assume that introverts are made for this lifestyle. And yes, some enjoy their alone time. But even the most introverted of us can feel the weight of isolation when we don't have anyone to share life's simple moments with. A retired teacher from Vermont shared her story on a blog. She used to love her quiet, peaceful mornings. But as the years went on, she realized it wasn't the grand conversations she missed. It was the small talk, the little, everyday things. No more chats about the weather. No one to share a cup of coffee with. And as time passed, her social circle grew smaller, friends moved away, some passed on, and suddenly, the silence became overwhelming. But it's not all gloom. One woman in her late 60s found a solution by adopting a cat. She said, "My cat doesn't talk, but he's always there when I come home, and that makes all the difference." Pets offer companionship that fills those quiet spaces in your day. They give you routine, they need your care, and in return, they provide you with unconditional presence. If you're feeling the weight of loneliness, know this: it's completely normal, and it's okay to feel that way. The key is to find ways to connect. It could be a pet, a weekly call with a friend, or even joining a local group activity. Loneliness is not something you should suffer through. It's something you can manage and conquer. 3. The home maintenance struggle. Let's face it, keeping up with home maintenance gets harder as we age. What used to take you an hour might now take 3. Mowing the lawn, fixing that leaky faucet, or cleaning the gutters suddenly feels more like climbing a mountain than a Saturday afternoon chore. One gentleman from Florida shared how he used to be a master at fixing things around the house. But now, he says it takes him twice as long. And some days, he just can't get through his to-do list. "I still care about my home," he shared, "but I just don't have the energy to do it all anymore." So, what's the solution? Don't be afraid to ask for help. Hiring someone to handle the heavier tasks isn't a sign of weakness. It's a smart move that frees up your time and energy for the things that matter most. And if the budget allows, consider downsizing to a smaller space that's easier to manage. You deserve a home that works for you, not one that overwhelms you. 4. your daily routine, finding peace in the everyday. When you live alone, your routine becomes your sanctuary. There's no one to spontaneously pull you away from your plans. No shared responsibilities. For some, that can feel isolating, but for others, it's the stability they crave. Take Margaret, a woman I read about on a forum. Every morning, she plays the same song while she makes her breakfast. It's a small habit, but to her, it fills her quiet house with energy. For another man, his routine was tending to his garden. He looked forward to watering his plants every evening, not just because he loved his garden, but because it gave him a sense of purpose and a rhythm to his day. There's something beautiful about these small, simple routines. They keep you grounded. So, if you're living alone, embrace your daily rituals. Make your morning coffee, take that afternoon walk, and enjoy your favorite TV show in the evening. These moments are yours, and they give you control over your life. 5. Cooking for one. A small act of self-care. Cooking for one, it sounds simple, but many people find it harder than they expected. Without anyone to share a meal with, it can feel like too much effort to cook a full dish just for yourself. I've heard countless stories of people falling into the habit of frozen meals and takeout, not because they don't know how to cook, but because it just seems easier. But here's the thing, cooking for yourself is an act of self-care. One woman on a forum said it best, "Learning to love cooking for myself changed my perspective entirely. It's not about the labor, it's about the care I'm putting into myself." Batch cooking on the weekends or trying out new recipes can turn cooking from a chore into a rewarding experience. It's about reminding yourself that you're worth the effort. Plus, cooking at home is healthier and more budget-friendly in the long run. Next time you're tempted to reach for takeout, try to see it differently. Preparing a meal, even a simple one, is a way of saying, "I care about myself." 6. The blessing and curse of silence. Silence. For some, it's a gift. For others, it's unsettling. When you live alone, especially after years of a bustling household, the quiet can feel both peaceful and unnerving. One older woman I read about shared how she started leaving the radio on throughout the day, just to fill the air with some noise. Another man listens to podcasts, not because he's deeply interested in the topic, but because it makes him feel like someone's talking to him. On the flip side, silence can also be a space for reflection. It's time to think, to breathe, to just be. After years of being surrounded by people, silence can be a much-needed break, a way to recharge. So, whether you're thriving in the quiet or struggling with it, there's no right or wrong way to feel. Find what works for you, whether it's filling your day with music or embracing the stillness for some much-needed peace. 7. Staying active. It's all about intention. Here's something we don't always talk about. Staying physically active when you live alone, without a partner or housemate encouraging you to go for a walk or join a class. It's easy to fall into a sedentary lifestyle. Many people admit that after living alone for some time, they notice their physical fitness declining. But staying active doesn't have to mean hitting the gym for hours. It can be as simple as taking a daily walk, doing some light stretching, or gardening. One woman I read about decided to get a dog purely for this reason. The dog needed to walk, and so did she. Physical activity, no matter how small, can have a huge impact on your well-being. It keeps your body in motion, lifts your mood, and clears your mind. Remember, it's not about doing something intense. It's about doing something consistently. What's small, intentional movements can you add to your daily routine today? 8. Time. When days feel longer, but weeks slip by. When you live alone, your relationship with time can shift. Without the rhythm of another person's schedule to guide you, days can feel longer, or they can slip by without you even noticing. A man shared on a forum how, after retirement and the passing of his spouse, he sometimes wasn't sure what day it was. Without external cues like a partner's work schedule or children's activities, time can blur. But here's the good news. You have the power to create your own rhythm. Whether it's designating certain days for specific tasks or engaging in hobbies that anchor your time, You can regain control of the flow of your days. How can you structure your time in a way that works for you, rather than letting it slip by unnoticed? 9. Decluttering, letting go of what no longer serves you. Decluttering takes on a new meaning when you live alone. On one hand, there's no one to argue with you about what to keep or toss. On the other hand, every item in your home holds memories, and letting go can feel like letting go of parts of your life. A woman in her 70s shared that she found herself holding on to things because of their sentimental value, even though she knew she didn't need them. "It's just me," she said. "So, who does it hurt if I keep them?" But then she realized she didn't want to leave all this for someone else to sort through. Simplifying her home gave her a sense of peace and freedom, knowing that her space reflected who she was now, not who she used to be. Decluttering isn't about minimalism for the sake of it. It's about making your home a place that brings you joy. Start small, tackle one area at a time, and allow yourself to feel the emotions that come with it. After all, this is your space, and you have the power to shape it as you wish. 10. Creating your own social life. Don't wait for invitations. As you get older, something surprising happens. Social invitations start to dwindle. It's not that people stop caring, but as friends and family get busier with their own lives, the invitations become less frequent. One woman shared how she used to wait for her phone to ring, hoping for an invitation to a gathering or event. But then she realized she needed to be proactive. Instead of waiting, she started creating her own social life. She invited friends for coffee, organized a book club, and even hosted a movie night in her living room. The best part? When you host or organize the fun, you get to shape it around what you enjoy. If you love crafting, invite people over for a DIY night. If you're into hiking, start a walking group. The freedom is yours. How can you take charge of your social life today? 11. Self-care, because you deserve it. When you live alone, there's no one to notice if you've been wearing the same clothes for 3 days or if you've skipped a meal. It's easy to fall into a routine of neglecting yourself. One man shared how, after years of living alone, he realized he was letting small things slide, skipping meals, not showering regularly, spending too much time on the couch. But then it hit him. He deserved the same care and attention he would give to someone else. Self-care isn't just about grooming or eating well. It's about your mental health. 2. Whether it's keeping up with medical appointments, getting enough sleep, or doing things that make you feel good, self-care is crucial when you're on your own. One woman shared her self-care ritual of lighting candles in the evening,
Putting on a face mask.
and reading a book.
It's a small act.
But it's something she does just for herself, a reminder that she deserves to feel nurtured. What small acts of self-care can you start incorporating into your day? You deserve the best care, and only you can give it to yourself. Living alone as an older adult has its challenges, but it can also be deeply fulfilling. You have the freedom to create the life you want, and that's something precious. But remember, it's okay to ask for help, to prepare for the unexpected, and to lean on others when needed. Surround yourself with what makes you happy, whether that's a beloved pet, a garden, or your favorite book. And when the hard days come, remind yourself that you're not truly alone. There's a whole community of people just like you, finding their way through it.
2.
Thank you for watching. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. We'd love to hear from you.